called Caitlyn Clark, who is an American basketball player, and she is phenomenal. Apparently, she is the female equivalent of Michael Jordan, who I'm sure you've heard of, or LeBron. LeBron
James.
LeBron James. But the interesting thing about Caitlyn Clark is she's white and heterosexual. So 70% of the WNBA, which is the Women's National Basketball Association, are black. And apparently, and I don't know how they get this stat, most of those are lesbians. But Caitlyn Clark is, she's an attractive, very photogenic, white, she's 6 foot tall, basketball player. And what's interesting is she has been pilloried by a significant number of her colleagues in the WNBA. She was top of the college circuit, and then she's come into the WNBA, one of the highest ever paid players coming in there. But she has had a hell of a lot of negative comments about her not deserving her place, about her being this, that and the other, and mainly from black female WNBA players. And I wanted to ask you about this, because I was looking at it and I was thinking, this is outrageous, this is racism or whatever. But then I kind of thought, isn't this what happened 20 or 30 years ago to black players coming into predominantly white sports in the USA? Or is this something slightly different?
I think it's different but the same.
Yeah.
So that point you made there is completely correct. So 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago in America, black players coming through in any sport would have received a hostile environment, down to racism, down to fear of the unknown, down to we're better than you, we don't want to play with black people, we're a better race than you. Many things would have contributed to that. There was no women's sports in those days, so this would have been male sports coming through. What's different with this one is it's universally acknowledged now in the West that racism's wrong. So nobody consciously would be saying we don't want her playing because she's white. Even they don't believe that, even though subconsciously they wouldn't consciously think that, and definitely wouldn't say that. Part of it is because it's a woman's sport and women are more catty and are more jealous than men. You laugh, but it's true. Women will tell you that about each other and themselves. That doesn't mean men can't be jealous. And, one of my favourite quotes of all time is from Genghis Khan. And Genghis Khan said, "It's not enough that I should win, but that everybody else should lose." So, these are human traits. What else is on top of this, the racism part of it as well, is there's a feeling, from what I've only read a little bit, what do I care about basketball? What do I care about women's basketball? Nothing. But from what I read coming out to me, there seems to be a little bit of black basketball players saying, this game's ours.
Yes.
We're not scientists.
Yeah.
We're not this. We're not that.
Yeah.
We don't do anything else well. Sport is what we do.
Yeah.
And especially basketball sport is what we do. How dare this white woman come along and be better than us?
Yeah.
And in fact, she isn't better than us. She's only perceived to be better because she's white.
Yeah.
She's only attracting the money because she's white.
That's what they're saying. They're saying, her stats don't measure up, and they're making up. I've seen a black female ex-player making up statistics about saying she's they're 25 years old, so she's actually 21, Caitlyn Clark, and her stats are way above any previous incumbent.
Now, these black athletes have a point to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's getting paid more and getting more attention because she is white. I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah.
Just like the Williams Venus sisters in tennis got more attention when they started coming through because they were black.
Yeah.
The golfer
Tiger Woods
got more attention coming through because he was black.
Yeah.
Once he became a phenomenal player, and then he was getting attention because of who he was.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she's getting some extra attention because she's white, and the people paying her will be looking at marketing and viewing figures, and they're going, we have a potential star here. because she's white, because she's good as well as being white.
Yeah.
This might bring a whole new load of white girls into the game. That means more money. So I'm sure there was a bit of that going on because this is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the way they've reacted to it is racist and pure jealousy.
Yeah.
And the women's basketball in America makes no money. It's completely subsidised by the male teams.
Yes.
Because they don't earn enough money to even pay their way.
Yeah.
It's heavily subsidised by male teams. Because
but
no one watches it.
But Caitlyn Clark is generating revenues. Lots of people are watching, they're signing up, she's filling stadiums. People want to see her.
People want to see the styles. That's why we have Ronaldo's and Messi's, Mike Tyson's, David Beckham's. They may not be the best players in the world all their career because they're not.
Yeah.
But they still
Ronaldo is, but anyway,
they still have star quality.
Yeah.
They still bring money into the game. They still fill stadiums.
Yeah.
So even when they're beyond, even when they've not reached their top or gone beyond the top and are on the way down, it's a sport's a business.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting, this section I called it the curious case of Caitlyn Clark. What's interesting is the fact she's white is now unusual. That's that's one of the bizarre things that's attractive about her in the sport, because she is white
and good.
So it's completely shifted round now, where being black and good in a sport was an interesting thing. Now, if you're white and good at that sport, it's actually, that itself is attractive to people, not for racism reasons, just because she's unusual in that way.
It is, but this is the left eating itself again. So the left have been telling us for decades about representation. I've got to see me in a business. I've got to see me in a team to support that team.
Yeah.
I've got to see, so basketball's, let's say 70% black. White kids are going, I don't see myself in that team.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
You can see a hero in anybody.
Yeah.
It's their actions that make him a hero, and then you relate to that. You don't have to see a white person as a white person to see that as a hero. You can see someone like Gandhi, see someone like Martin Luther King. You see these people as heroes.
Yeah.
Not because you're the same colour as them.
Colour, yeah.
Because of their actions.
The person, yeah.
So the left saying we have to see representation has backfired now, because Caitlyn, whatever Clark can say, well, I'm representing 70% of the American girls because I'm white.
Yes.
Well, the bollocks, and that doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But you can use the leftist arguments.
They can't argue against it, can they? That's
because
what's really
representation matters.
And you've raised an interesting point here, which I hadn't thought about before. It's not just the fact that we're 70% black and it's our sport or whatever. You've made a very good point as well, which, may not go down well with all our viewers, that in terms of achievement, a lot of the areas where the black people have achieved has been things like sport and entertainment. Other areas they are not particularly successful in. And this is a situation where a white person is now invading an area where they've actually shown preeminence and potentially, dominating that area. So it must be threatening, I guess.
It is.
To that society, to that group.
If you bought into identity politics,
yeah,
you can see it being a huge insult.
Yeah.
I thought my group were the best at this.
Yeah.
What are you doing
yeah.
challenging my group?
Yeah.
I'm a black female lesbian.
Yeah.
We're the best at this.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Because for black female lesbians to be the best at something means it's an innate trait.
Yeah.
No, we don't have innate traits like that.
Yeah.
Because if we do, then we can start putting other labels on people for their traits. That's racism.
Yeah.
When you look at someone and go, because of your this, that means you like these things and dislike. That's racism.
I mean, isn't it in a way a positive thing for black people that this is happening? Because I know as well that within the world of sprinting, which was dominated by black runners, there are now quite a few white runners. I don't know if you're aware of this. Yeah. There's quite a few white runners coming through who are fast runners, basically. But I would have thought, isn't this a positive thing for black people? Because rather than being labelled, well, black people are only good at sports because of genetics or whatever, that's the only reason you're good at it. You're actually finding now, if you've got white athletes coming through in these sports, it kind of removes that stereotype. that black people are only good at sport because of their physical makeup or whatever. Is that not a positive thing for them to see? Or I would argue it's a positive thing.
I think this is a negative thing to discuss for these individuals, because this will lead, after one or two small steps, to discussion around IQ in race.
Right.
That's where this leads to.
Yes, yeah.
And scientifically we should have those discussions and see what's relevant there.
Yeah.
But it will be perverted quite quickly by people going, my race is better than your race.
Yeah.
Because that's what those black female athletes have already said.
They're saying that already.
In that context, my race is better than your race when we play basketball.
Yeah.
Again, racism. And along that line is, my race is more intelligent than your race.
Yeah.
They need to be... This is just female jealousy.
Yeah.
You rarely get men doing this in sports.
Yeah.
Because men on the whole have a better sense of fair play, but not all of them. But then if you did this as a male athlete, you'd be laughed at.
Yes.
Stop being weak. If you don't like him, beat him on the track and field.
Yeah.
Score more points than him. Score more goals than him. Stop being a moaning, envious little girl.
Yeah. And actually, that is the way I would say in men's football, that's the way it is. The way they try and prove their point is by beating their opponent.
So you're on a way to win?
Yeah, it is.
You can say what you want, but if I score more goals than you, no matter what you say is worthless.
Yeah. Very interesting. I just thought it was a fascinating phenomenon happening now. And you're right, what that's going to do is attract lots more young white girls back into basketball, I guess.
More seats on bums.
Yes.
More money coming in.
Yeah.
All those players get paid more.
Yeah.
Even the black female lesbians.
Yes.
So it's a good thing. Did you like that video? I think you did. Hit the bell, give it a big thumbs up, comment, and don't forget, I'm standing for election in Oldham East and Saddleworth. So please share this video, speak to your family and friends if you live in Greater Manchester, and if you live in Oldham East and Saddleworth, make sure you vote for me. Catch you soon.